Ladies and gentlemen, what's good, y'all? The Chillmeister Chris Gary up Adam in the morning for at least this one time for this special Focus Fights audio exclusive interview. And when I say special, this is kind of special because of who I'm talking to. But when one organization closes up their doors, it gets hard for somebody who fought their heart out for their profession just to land on their feet. But for certain fighters who have name value, a good team behind them, and or a good way to hone their craft, they not only land on their feet, but they make those around them tremble in fear. They pull up to the scene. And this person I'll be speaking with momentarily hopes to do just that when they face off against fellow submission ace Kazumasa Majima at RIZIN Landmark 13 on April 13th, live from the Marine Messe Arena, Kata, Fukuoka, Japan. This 12-fight Bellator MMA veteran has a record of 13 wins and 3 losses, with 10 of those wins by way of devastating submission. At 5 feet 8 inches tall, 173, he weighs in at 146 pounds, 10.43 stone, fighting out of Trafford Park, Manchester, England, United Kingdom, by way of Strabane, County Tyrone, Ireland. Introducing my guest at this time, James, the Strabanimal Gallagher. James,
Yes, brother.
hops the crack, man. How are you?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. What an introduction. I'm looking forward to hearing that in 8 weeks' time in Fukuoka, Japan.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and say it right now. That intro I gave you is probably the longest you've ever gotten in your career. Not even Michael C. Williams could have gave you an intro like that.
No, definitely not, bro. Definitely not. And it's an honor to be on your show. And thank you very much for taking the time to interview me.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. But still, though, when it came down to this fight against Kazumasa Majima, aside from the promo video you had with the Irish ski mask, I mean, when you got the call from the Rise Crash, namely Shingo Kashiwagi, to take this fight, what was the first thought that came crawling to your mind?
Fuck yes. Fucking right. Get me in there. So it was that. That's the only thought came through my head. And that's before I even looked at the opponent. That's anything, do you know what I mean? So the first thing I heard whispers like there was a thing that maybe there's a chance of getting on Risen, and I was like, yeah, 100%. So then I'm just in the gym, and I haven't heard nothing, and I'm just kind of looking for opportunities, and then one day I came back and I had a message through. It's like, how do you think about this opponent, this date, this here, blah blah blah, all the details of the contract, and I just said, right back, yes, let's do it. And sat down with my team and studied the opponent, and everything was yes, 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 and yes. And now we're here, and I'm very, very excited to get preparations underway. Well, preparations are always underway. I mean, I'm always training. I'm always in shape, and always it's just my life. Do you know what I mean? So it was
Mm-hmm.
a no brainer to take it, and it's an opportunity that I'm very, very grateful for. It's kind of somebody in my position who's been around the game a long, long time, but when I started, it was all the Pride era. Do you know what I mean? It was people getting soccer kicked, and obviously then with like the UFC, Bellator, all these kind of things. You know what I mean? The rules are different. So to be able to go out here and perform for the Japanese fans and to be fighting under the Risen banner is it's a milestone of my career.
Now, when it comes down to fighting in Rising, which for the record is pronounced like rising like a phoenix from the ash, not risen from the grave, but still though, when it comes down to being the first Irishman to fight under the superior rule set, what will it mean for you to fight in this promotion, even though you're going to be doing it in a ring probably for the first time rather than a
This one's
cage?
in a cage. This one's in a
Oh,
cage, so it is. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
right, right.
I think
I mean,
they only do the ring on New Year's Eve.
well, they do the ring for numbered events. Now
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
realize it's going to be coming up in a matter of weeks, as a matter of fact. But still, though, this event you're going to be on, as stupid as it is for me to not realize, it's going to be in a cage, not a ring. But still, though, what will fighting in Ryzen mean for you and for the Republic of Ireland as a whole?
Man, it's an absolute honor. So it is to be the first Irishman to get signed to Ryzen, and to be able to go out into Japan. And they're such a passionate country about martial arts, as of are the Irish, and to be able to go out there and for them to ask me to come out there and put my skill set on display and for those people, it's an absolute honor. Ryzen's a great promotion, and it's an honor to be a part of it, and it's a milestone of my career to be able to go out here and do this. And the rule set, the way the fans are, from the promotion itself, how they do things, it's just exactly where I feel like I belong.
I see. And I mean, I know it's too early for you to say, what are your opponent's strengths and weaknesses are, because let's face it, the fight ain't but for another 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you say from looking at what you probably studied on tape are Kazumasa Majima's submission skills compared to yours? Are they similar or are they at least a little bit different?
Yeah, he's a very good southpaw. So he's strong on the feet, strong wrestling, and he's got very very good jiu-jitsu. But the way that I train here in the subzone in Manchester, and the team that I've got behind me, and my skill set that I have developed throughout the years, um,
Mm-hmm.
I I really don't think that he's going to bring me a lot of problems, but nothing that I can solve. And I feel like my problem solving and my competitor mindset when I'm in the moment, it is going to take over. And I feel like that's what's going to be the difference. How quick I solve all the problems and how much I stay in the competition. I don't think once I answer all of the problems that he brings to the table, I don't think he'll be able to keep up bringing me new problems. And I feel like that's what's going to be the deciding factor in the fight, is how quickly I deal with the problems and how quick I transition from them. And I feel like that's going to be the deciding factor on the fight, and I don't think he'll catch up with me once I get ahead in that.
I see. Now, going to talk about your career from the start as a professional mixed martial artist. You started your career with 6 submission wins in your first 7, including rear choke submission victories over Misfits fighter Anthony Pretty Boy Taylor in Dublin, as well as beating Lyoto Machida's older brother Chito at Madison Square Garden, which was definitely the highlight of your career. But
Mm-hmm.
when you lost to Ricky Bandejas
Mm-hmm.
at 204, did you feel like you needed to change some things in order to improve your fight style?
No, not really, because yes and no. Do you know what I mean? So not really my fighting style, but more so my approach in competition.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, and that's more so what I had to change. And back then, I think I was 20 years old, something in around that, 21 years old, and yeah, I was 20 years old when I got beat to him, I think, and I was just a young kid that coming in and had the world on my shoulders, and didn't realize what it took to actually keep the world on my shoulders, and how to keep pushing forward, and how to compete at that level with the world on my shoulders. And that fight made me the man that I am today, because back then I thought I was the man that I am now, and I wasn't. So I wasn't, and I was just a young kid, but I thought I didn't think I was. Do you know what I mean? And that fight was great for me. So it was, and that people like always try to like kind of give me a bit of grief for that one, and I was like, if you look at my career since then, it's like the things that I've went on to do, the things that I did after, and how I've handled that loss has got me to where I am today, and I'm still here, knocking on the top of the world. Do you know what I mean? I'm still one of the top fighters in the world, and that's what that fight led me to. And the mindset that gave me was a bulletproof mindset that I cannot be phased, and there's nothing more kind of like some people might say that it was the worst thing that ever happened in my career. It was such an embarrassing moment, and I was like, nah, it was one of the best moments of my career, because what I had to deal with during that has led me to being able to accomplish absolutely anything.
I see, I see. And you've gone 6-2 since that. One of those two losses, aside from the loss in your last Bellator fight to blown up fly Leandro Higo, was to Patchy Nola Mix,
Yeah,
who the UFC, lost two fights there and coming back into RIZIN for the first time since New Year's Eve 2019. But considering the fact that you fought him before, would a rematch between you two under RIZIN rules be more or less?
man, I would absolutely love to get that rematch. So I would. That was an absolute great fight. It was probably, considering it was a loss, it's up there with one of the best performances of my career. So it isn't. I don't think that anybody in that whole tournament, that was that bantamweight tournament at the time, handled Patchy Mix the way that I did. Even though I did get caught and I messed up at the end of the third round, and I got caught in a submission. And hats off to him, the better man won on the night. I don't think there was anybody that went out there and give it to him the way that I give it to him, and it's definitely something that's on my mind. And Patchy's a great guy, and he's a very very good competitor, one of the best in the world in my opinion. And I feel like now I'm older, more mature, I've experienced it, been in there with him. I feel like it's something that I can get back.
I see. And obviously, when it comes down to Bellator, you fought 12 times in the promotion. You basically gave your heart and soul to the promotion. But when Bellator got bought out by the PFL, and you had to wear those whack takedown or throwdown, whatever the hell fight kits they were for the Bellator Championship Series in 2024, do you feel as though the whole fight sports, especially because of how the UFC has uniformed mixed arts now, has become too robotic? I'm not just talking about, the fight kits. I'm talking production value, feel at the shows,
Yeah,
just that type of stuff.
100%. It just, the way I was the one, I was only a kid when I got signed to Bellator, and I was one of the first Irish to get signed to it. And once I got signed to it, I went and headlined a few shows in Dublin. Fucking brought a whole roster of Irish fighters onto Bellator after it, and it just changed. It wasn't the same, and new people got involved, and there was just like some conflicts and stuff like that there. And it kind of just felt like I wasn't for that no more, and they weren't for me no more. So it wasn't. It just kept felt like that things weren't 4-4. 4-4 wasn't adding up to 8 no more. Do you know what I'm trying to say? And it just wasn't. It wasn't a fit. And but I had some of the best days of my life in Bellator. Do you know what I mean? And I'm very, very grateful for all the people behind the scenes that made that happen. Scott Coker and all the guys was an amazing promoter and amazing to work with. And when he left, and things just changed, and it just wasn't meant to be no more. And we decided then to part ways. I think it was about 2 years ago, but this time 2 years ago. So it was, and I'm very, very grateful for everything they've done, and I'm very grateful for parting ways with them and being on my way.
I see, I see. Now, steering away from getting back to your amateur days or getting to your as someone who has fought and won in a bout in the International Amateur Mixed Martial Arts Tournament, do you
Mm.
think mixed martial arts could potentially be an Olympic sport one day?
I don't know. I don't know, because I feel like if it does, a lot of the rules is going to change. So that was a great format, but I remember I went out and fought, and within 20 seconds of the first round, I got my arm broken by an armbar in the first round, and I continued on to fight with a broken arm and won. But then the next day, I couldn't compete because my arm was fucking like a balloon. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like it has its perks, but it's going to create a style of fighting that I don't think transitions very well into the pro game. So I do, but it's an absolute great format, and it's great for amateurs coming up, and great for young kids that want to get lots of experience. Within a week, you have like 5 fights. Do you know what I mean? So it's absolutely amazing for things like that. But I just think it will be a different thing to pro MMA, which is technically what boxing is. Boxing is the same thing, and that's Olympic in the Olympics. You know what I mean? But it's very different to the pro game, and I feel like that it could definitely go that way. But it will have a major effect from transition to amateur to pro, is where nowadays, like especially around Ireland and England, there's amateurs coming through and they're high level pro athletes. Do you know what I'm saying? And I feel like
Mhm.
it could take away a little bit from that if it does go to the Olympics.
Now, speaking of training, obviously, when it comes down to your days now, you're in Manchester, you're fighting out of what you usually call Old Trafford for football or soccer. But when it comes down to fighting out of Subzone Academy, what are some of the things that you find similar to fighting out of Straight Blast Gym in Dublin?
Yeah, it's just very high level coaches. You know what I mean? I spent my younger days under John Kavanagh, and now I'm in Manchester. I'm living here with my girlfriend, and I've got an absolutely amazing head coach in Cam. I kind of look at him as like a big brother to me. He's just one of them men that I just feel guided under. He cares for me, looks after me, and make sure that I've got everything I need in the gym. And just the energy in the room is very, very good, and I absolutely love it in there. And the progression that I have made in there in the last, I want to say, close was 8 9 months is absolutely insane. So it is, and it's somewhere I'm glad that I can finally call home.
Mm-hmm. I see. Now, when it comes down to certain fighters these days, those who are, humble enough to basically want to move on to newer pastures, and you know what? I'm trying to basically say this is a jab at a certain Irish legend who just announced that he wants to go fighting all of a sudden. But do you feel that the current era of fighters these days do too much to talk down their, basically belittle them?
The way I look at things, bro, is people can do whatever the fuck they want. Do you know what I'm trying to say? People can do whatever they want, and works out. For example, look at Connor. Do you know what I mean? The man paved the way for all of us in Irish MMA. He opened the door for all of us so that we could reach these levels that no one else had ever reached before. And he did what he did to get to where he is. And young people looking up at that are, it's kind of like, do you know what I mean? He achieved the pinnacle of what there is, from businesses to how he won 2 world titles, made more money than ever in an MMA fighter, and that's how he did it. Do you know what I mean? And I guess it's kind of like a blueprint in some ways for some people, but then people have different personalities, and it's just some people can deal with that and some people can't. And I just let people do whatever the fuck they want to do, and if that's what they want to do, then let them do it. And if someone can stop them from doing it, then fair play to them. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like opinions are like arseholes, mate. Everybody has one, and no matter what you do, people
They
are
all,
always people are always going to have an opinion on it. So the way that I see it, and the way that I do it, is I just do whatever the fuck I want. As long as the opinion of me is absolutely great by me, then I really don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks. Do you know what I mean? And at the end of the day, it's a very, very hard sport. You risk your life every time that you're on the line. One shot and you're done. One shot, you can mightn't be able to walk back out of the cage. And so the way that I do it is I'm going to make the most out of every opportunity that I get. I'm going to put myself on the line every single time that I get. And as long as I think I'm doing the right thing, I'm going to do it. And I don't care what anybody else thinks. So people always, and then there's other people then that don't say anything, they don't speak, they don't do this, and they don't do that. And then the humblest, nicest guy in the world. And then people are coming on saying, going, he's too quiet. He's never going to be making it big. No one's ever going to watch him. And it's like, so there's no winning. Do you know what I mean? The only
Mhm.
winning that I care about is when I come home and I put my feet up after a day's training and relax and go, have I done everything I could today? Have I done everything that I'm happy with today? And have I carried myself the way that my integrity sits in my chest? Then I'm good, mate. I'm fucking good.
I see. Now, when it comes down to what would have been your last fight, I know that your last fight is actually credited to be the summer of 2025, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yeah, last June.
yeah, your last fight would have been in October had it not been for the lack of professionalism from the promotion. Because let's face it, everybody on this side of the Atlantic knows that the promotion involved in your last fight is nuttier than squirrel shit. But when it came down to that particular fight, you were about to fight Ali Al Qaisi. Y'all
Mm-hmm.
shown some respect during the weigh-in, to show unity toward the Middle East, namely Palestine, during, a heartfelt moment before the lead up to the fight.
Mm-hmm.
But in crazy times that the world is going through right now, and it's not just on either of our sides of the Atlantic, but throughout the world in general, do you think that people in overall need to show more unity similar to what you and Ali displayed back in October?
No, I feel like people need to do whatever the fuck they want. Do you know what I mean? And for me, in my integrity, that's what I just feel like where I've came from in Ireland, they have came through the same kind of thing, and it's just something that I, I don't agree with anything that's going on, and it's something that I stand for, and something that I believe in, and I feel like that's what I'm about, and I feel like that's what I like to do. But if someone doesn't want to do that, they don't have to. Do you know what I mean? And this is the great thing about the world that we live in, is that people are people, and you see people, and especially people who put themselves in the public eye, you see them for who they are, and people could see for me for what I'm about and for what I stand on, the same as Ali for what he believes in and what he stands about, and we stand for the same thing. So we stood for the same thing on that moment that we could, to publicize what's going on over there. And I'm not going to sit here and point my fingers at people and say they should do this and they should do that, because when I got my moment, I did what I could, and that's all that matters to me, is that I do what I can and what I think is right.
That's understandable. And I mean, to be honest, it's like you said, people can do whatever the fuck they want. You
Mm-hmm.
know, to show tolerance and respect towards folks, even in times of chaos.
Exactly. And for me, is you will get my respect for doing something like that and showing me what for what you stand there, and for being a man of your integrity. That's what I respect, and that's what I'm about. You know what I mean? I'm a family man. I'm about living correct, and about standing by the right things and the right people. And unfortunately, I didn't get to share the cage, but I got to share a special moment with Ali, another great man from Jordan, and we were able to raise awareness for what's going on in Palestine, and it was a special moment in my heart, and I'm very very glad that I got to do that. But for me to go and say that people else should be doing that to other people, is it's not up to me to tell someone what to do, but it's up to me to voice my opinion on what I believe, and I do what I should do to make that be out there.
I can't argue with that, man. Now, when it comes down to, future aspirations, I mean, obviously, your aspirations are to become the rising featherweight champion, potentially face off against Rajapali Shadulayev and all of that entails, or potentially face off against Patchy Mix if a rematch does come. But while you haven't fought in Rise yet, there's one guy in particular, and I don't know if you've been checking out the Instagram account lately. One guy in particular, as in Trent Girdham out of Australia, the crazy boy, Nino Loco, now this God Samurai, has already come out and saying that he wants to fight you next, should
Mm.
you beat Majima. Now, let's just say if you do beat Majima, would you lay down the gauntlet for a potential fight with Girdham, or for anyone at 145 pounds or 10.43 stone to face you?
I don't know this guy that you're talking about, so I'm not too. I don't know who he is, but
So I'll just give you a little refresher course. The dude only fought twice in Ryzen. I interviewed him before, but I'm not gonna say he's nothing special, but he's nothing great. I mean, he does know how to work his way between kickboxing and MMA, that's for sure, but still, though, he's
I,
basically a guy out of Australia that outside of Ryzen hasn't really fought anybody big.
yeah, but I guess that's why he wants to fight me, because he's looking for his point. But to be honest, I'm looking at big names. I'm looking at big fights. I'm looking at the likes of Pachimix. I'm looking at the likes of the champion. I'm looking at, you know what I mean? I want to go out to Japan and face the biggest stars, because that's at the level that I'm at. And to be honest, I don't really. Yeah, I'll fight in absolutely anybody. I'll walk out. If someone offers me the money that I'm getting to fight in Risen right now, I'll walk outside my front door and fight my next door neighbor. Do you know what I mean? No problem at all. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, long story short, yeah, absolutely, I'll fight him if Risen come to me on and send a contract my way. For when they have anybody's name on the paper, I'm going to fight it. But it's someone's calling me out on Instagram who's trying to build the name off my following, my stardom, the name that I have built for myself by going out there and fighting high level competitions. I'm not really looking to take a step back in any way, shape, or form, but I'm a martial artist, I'm a fighter, and anybody that comes my way that's on the names on the contract, I'm absolutely going to fight him.
I mean, come to think of it, you probably might have to pull a Mike Tyson versus Bob Sapp. Sign the contract, big boy.
whoever the president of Risen pits in my way, I will fight. So it's an absolute honor to go over here and be a part of Rising. And man, if this is the guy that they pit in front of me, but I'm only looking at my next opponent. To be honest, I'm not looking at some keyboard warrior on Instagram who's trying to pipe up and make himself relevant. Because let's face it, for the last 4 months I've been pitting on Instagram saying I'm looking for a fight, I'm looking for this, and it's only happens that now that I've got matched up against somebody, that somebody else is popping up. But that always seems to be the way that these guys online, that when you get a fight and you sign a contract to fight someone at a high level, the Majima that I'm fighting has an unbelievable record, is a high level fighter. That then you get some little hillbilly from the back ass of nowhere in Australia that's going to come up and try to pipe in. Do you get me? It's like, what? Where were you fucking 4 months ago when I was looking for a fight? When this wasn't done? Do you know what I'm trying to say? So these people are just trying to build relevance on their name off the back of Instagram, and that's not really my thing. I'm looking for big fights that lead me to gold, and this is the first step of on the way.
Understood. I mean, I can totally understand, especially considering the fact that the guy in question hasn't fought in Ryan a good amount of time. I think the last fight he had was back at Ryzen 43, I think over a year ago, if I'm not
Mm. What's his record on Rising?
I think if I were to look at it real quick, sorry, I'm just doing some
No, it's all
late
good.
note research. I think it's not that good. It's probably around 1-2, maybe 0-3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, exactly, mate. You know what I'm saying? That says it all. So I'm coming in here against somebody who's 18 wins under their belt in their career, who's a high level martial artist, and these are the kind of guys that I want to be facing. But as I say, if the president of Rising comes and puts a name on the contract, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be there. I'm going to show up and I'm going to fight.
Understood. Understood. I mean, I can imagine that you're the type of guy, and I hate to basically reference one of the Paul brothers because they bring nothing to the table as far as respect in combat sports, but you're definitely one of those any place, anytime, anywhere type of fighters. Am I right?
100%. You know what I mean? Is if now I'm at a stage in my career, it's anytime, anywhere. But if the terms are all correct and I'm going to move smartly in my career to get the big fights to direct me in the right direction to where I want to go, Do you know what I mean? I've already been there back in the day, fighting anybody, any week, any time, any amount of money, any rule set, any fucking things going on. I've already did that. Do you know what I mean? Is where now it's like very methodical opponents to get me to the highest level, and to do that, I gotta go against these guys that are ahead of me. So I do. So that's the kind of fights that I'm looking for. People that are higher on paper, people who have better records, better resumes, and they're the guys I'm coming after because that's what I want.
I see. And for the record, the guy that I was referencing, Trent Girdle, he's actually 0-4 in round, 0-3 in mixed martial arts. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm good.
last
I'm fair
he
play to him, mate. Keep going. Keep up the good work.
right, of course. I mean, I'm not trying to disparage the guy, but the last thing you need is a jobber on your record. Let's
Yeah, bro. I'm good on that. That's not going to do absolutely anything for me except get me a lot of hit on Instagram, which I get enough of anyway, and going to set me absolutely no further forward than I already am. So I'll pass on that one, mate. I'll pass on that one unless Risen presented to me.
Oh yeah, of course. But you know what? Come to think of it, speaking of introducing new people to new fans, well, actually, new fans to new people. I mean, let's just face the fact: the entirety of Europe, if not the entirety of Ireland, is gonna probably get up at the crack of dawn just to watch you fight on April 13th.
Yeah.
Let's just say if you were to give the opportunity to give European fight fans a few reasons why they check RIZIN out aside from you being there, what would they be and why?
Mate, the rule set that Ryzen presents is the most exciting rule set of all mixed martial arts. There is there is nothing that compares to it. It's true fighting in its truest form, and it's not a point scoring system that you have to kind of come in here, score a quick takedown, do score up points at the end of a round, etc., etc. It's the truest form of fighting in any sense, and the Ryzen itself has a true heritage of martial arts, and that's the integrity that they carry by that is absolutely unbelievable. And on top of that, they're going to see me walk out there. We're raising the Irish flag with pride, coming out there hungry and ready to go out there and do my country proud. And that's exactly what I'm training to do, and it's exactly what I give my life up to do. And I'm going to go out there and do it.
I see, I see. And I mean, the thing is, I don't think any Irish fighters have fought in Pride, Dream, or RIZIN before
No,
you came.
no, I'm making history in this one, brother. So I am, and it's an honor. It's an absolute honor for me to go out there and carry the tricolor with pride, and go out there and represent my country and do them all proud. And just as a thank you for all the support over the years, that this is what you're getting now for all that support. To how I'm going to go out there, handle myself, carry myself, go out there and put on a flawless performance.
I see, I see. And you know what? Steering away from fighting for just a second, let's just say if you weren't the Strabanimal, if you weren't a professionally trained mixed martial arts fighter, let's just say your life would be a whole lot different. What would be your backup plan if fighting wasn't in your life?
That's a good question, but when I started this, I had my first fight at 13 years old against so in my second fight, I was 13 years old, and I fought a guy who was 20 years old at the time in a ring. So I did in an MMA fight, and from that moment on, there was no plan B. So there wasn't. It was always to be fighting, always to become to the highest level of the sport. And 10 fucking, do you know what I mean? When I became a professional, then when I turned 18 years old, and here we are 11 years later, and I've done it. Do you know what I mean? So now for me is just to solidify my name in the sport to become down as one of the best ever to do it.
I see. So in other words, no plan B. I mean the Irish are known for fighting anyway, so fighting is definitely life up there in Ireland, right?
Yeah, it's distilled in my blood, mate. It's distilled in my blood.
I mean, come to think of it, I know that for a fact. The only other country that fights harder than y'all are the people in Brazil and the people in Russia, most definitely. But y'all definitely hold the flag high for Western Europe, at least.
100%. It's just for people are proud to be Irish, proud of my roots, proud of where I came from, proud of my whole, just to represent my family name, to go out here in Japan to fight. And I'm just a very proud Irishman. Do you know what I mean? So there is nothing more that can make me proud as a human being, as a person, to go out there and do Ireland, my family, my town, where I come from, what I stand for, proud. And that's exactly what the fuel of my fire is. Do you know what I mean? And once I go out here, hear my music drop, look up, see the Irish flag on the screen, see my face up in the banner, it's gonna be a massive moment for me to go out there and just to be a proud Irishman and to make the people back home proud of me. And it's something that I hold deeply inside my heart, and it's something that fuels me on to do what I do. And without that, I don't know if I would feel the same. I don't know if it would feel as much, and don't know if it would be as such a big moment for me. But since I do have that, and since I can go out here and do them proud, it fuels me on.
Well, I mean, to be honest, you'll probably be tunnel vision at that point, just staring directly at the cage and at your opponent. But I can basically say for certain when those Irish ears hear Lenny Hart yell your name out, as in James Gallagher,
It's
her
gonna
noise.
be amazing, brother. It's gonna be amazing. It's something that it's like a dream. It's like a dream. Do you know what I mean? But dreams only happen when you sleep. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? For me, it's going to be reality, and reality is when you wake up every day before your alarm clock and get to work to make these things happen. And fortunately for me, with the support system that I've got from my team here at Subzone Fight Academy, from my coach Cam, from my parents back home, from my friends that support me, from all the Irish that support me, it's something that has fueled me on to make it a reality, so that the day that they're waking up in April 12th that morning to come and tune in to watch me fight, that I'm going to be like, so it's going to be spectacular, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I guess that would disqualify me from asking if there's anybody you'd like to give shout outs to. I mean, you got them all lined
Yeah,
up and go. But
yeah. Now it's just the people that sit close to me, the people that have supported me throughout the years, the people that have stood by me through the hard times in this game, because it hasn't been easy. Do you know what I mean? It definitely has not been easy, especially over the last 4 or 5 years. Stuff's been going on and whatever, but I'm just so thankful that when you stick true to yourself and stay true to the game, it all comes true. Do you know what I mean? And it all becomes a reality. And these things that are dreams are just reality. Become reality because of hard work, hard work, and a good support system that I'll never ever stop representing.
exactly. And, I know we don't have much time left, so might as well get these last few questions out the way. First of all, how can fans reach out to you on social media to show support?
You can reach me on Instagram at Strabanimal MMA, and also on well, it's called now X, the same as Strabanimal MMA. So it is. So reach out, tune in April 12th, and it's going to be an absolute banger.
Okay. Uh, James, can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, cool, cool. Just wanted to ask, second question to this. Let's just say if Majima's team probably wants to know what these two gaijins are talking about, what would be a perfect way for you to tell him to bring your A game?
He can bring whatever he wants, mate. He can bring whatever he wants into that. But at the end of the day, what I'm bringing to the table out here, it's just not going to be enough for him. So it isn't. That's the simple answer. He can bring his A game. He can bring his B game. He can and also bring his fucking C game. Do you know what I mean? But I'm going to have answers for everyone. And that's the thing, when you fight me, I'm a problem solver. Whatever problems he brings to the table, I'm going to solve them really quick and transition into what I do. And I can see it ending up with me soccer kicking his head up over the fence.
I see. Third question. For those who might be watching you for the first time, what can fans hope to expect to see from you competing in Rising?
They're going to see the Jimmy show, mate. It's going to be an absolute experience for them. I put on a show like no other, so I don't. And when I walk out here and I'm coming out my robe with the Irish flag on, having the kneecap balaclava on, do you know what I mean? I'm going to put on a show, so I am. And that's only until we get to the cage. And then when we get to the cage, I'm going to put on an absolute mixed martial arts performance. So it's going to be a masterclass. The years of craft, the years of hard work that I've put into my craft is going to show truly on that night, and just everything's lining up perfect, and it's going to be a spectacular show coming into these new rule sets that suit my game to the ground. That's going to open up every submission under the sun for me, and I'm looking forward to coming out here and doing it in Japan.
I see. And one more question, and I know that you've probably been getting this a lot, but when it comes down to your nickname, the Strabanimal, where the hell did that come from, and how did you basically make it into your own?
Because where I come from is a small town in County Tyrone in Ireland, and it's called Strabane, and I'm an absolute fucking animal, mate. So it just makes sense they call me the Strabanimal.
I see, I see. I mean, it definitely makes sense because those 13 wins, those 10 submissions definitely make you feel like a fucking animal, mate.
So it is 100%. And just growing up where I came from, and Strabane is an absolutely amazing place to grow up in, and it's just I'm very very happy that I can go and represent my town in such a positive manner, doing what I do.
I see, I see. But other than that, that's all the time we have for James the Strab Animal Gallagher. If you want to check out more of him, card subject to change, you can check out RIZIN Landmark 13 on April 13th, live on RIZIN.tv. That event will take place at 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 8 p.m. Pacific in the United States. Or if you happen to be in Ireland, you're gonna have to get up at 4 in the morning just to see this man fight later in the day. Maybe get a good breakfast out of seeing this man compete.
I would say most people will stay up, to be honest, mate, back home. A few Guinness into them, they'll be staying up throughout the night.
I mean, come to think of it, I say that as in, they probably might be getting up for some breakfast and beatdowns or something.
Yeah. They only be getting going at 4:30 in the morning over there, mate.
But still, though, I cannot wait to see you fight, and hopefully the world won't be waiting long either.
Thank you very much, man. It's an absolute honor to be on your show, and thank you very much for taking the time to interview me.
No problem.
Thanks, boss. All right. Have a good day.
You too, mate.
Bye, bye, bye.